In my area is a gorgeous Saturday. In order to bring you the loveliest of Dungeons and Dragons this at this time of day. So I was going to say this evening, this afternoon, this morning, and I was like, nah, give up. It's just a day. We are joined today by the whole crew. We've got Battle and Freya and Yume and Winnie. They have had the bestest of sleeps in the inn in a town I don't remember the name of, outside of your friend Tina's house. And I believe last time we finished Gardens of the Fog. We talked about this was the first time you'd played these characters, and Winnie, you changed things, so that was the first time you played this configuration of character. And I like to, at the beginning of my campaigns, when you get to the end of a first arc or story chunk or whatever you want to call it, sort of pause and check in with your players and be like, is that all working the way you want? And if it isn't, I allow a one-time mulligan. If you get to level 10 and you're like, this decision I made 6 levels back is terrible, there has to be a longer conversation. But we were able to do some reconfiguring in some cases, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like. Some of that happened behind the scenes. I didn't want to take up a whole session with that. But I will say that TechSoup, who is my helping me run all of this, had the conversation with the player, and it was really entertaining to watch. I had a really good time and I learned a bunch. So that was all good. Today, what I'm going to do is introduce all 4 of you to a new story arc and see what you do with it. Now, I do run persistent campaigns, so if you decide to turn left instead of right, I will come up with something. So I try not to railroad anybody into doing the story I've prepared necessarily. I've gotten a lot better at it in the last couple of weeks, so feel free to go turn left instead of right, or whichever. Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
No, sounds good.
Let me just check here. I'm looking for, we switched Discord servers, so I'm looking for who has the role-playing point from last time. It looks like Winnie took it for going through many layers of exhaustion. Some good honorable mentions are Yume's Shining Rebuke. That is, I love that. It's gorgeous. Freya taking a bunch of damage and her lightning, the lightning flickers that are around her all the time, dimming. And another moment that was mentioned was Battle helping Freya out of the restraining vines with the sickle, which was a pretty cool moment, I think. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Something just happened in my server that I didn't realize that was the way it was set, so now I know that's annoying. I won't do that again. New servers are fun. You have to work out all the kinks and stuff. Alright, so, do you all want to tell me what happened in your last session? Does anybody remember that far back?
Day.
You did.
Yes, and we came back to the real world. And I got a puppy.
You did get a puppy. Does the puppy have a name yet?
She does.
What
her name is
Shielden.
Name? Shield and Armor. And we'll call her Shy for short.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
I'm so
very
excited about it.
Yeah, I am super excited about it as well. I think it's going to be really neat. What else happened last time?
Defeated a night hag. That was pretty much it.
You defeated a night hag, and what was the reason behind this entire adventure? Do you all remember?
Yeah, she had taken up residence in Winnie's friend Tina's brain, mind, consciousness, psyche thing, and was kind of causing severe anxiety and depression and horrible things, and so we had to go save Tina.
And you did?
Successfully did so.
Used neat magic to bring us into her psyche, and we helped her solve her problems and defeat the monsters.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that module. I think I might take it apart and modify it the next time I run it. I think it's neat, and I like the way it's written, but I think I'll flavor it differently next time. But yeah, that was a lot of fun running through that. It was a heavy first campaign. I probably, if anybody asks me in the future, I will not recommend running it with a brand new group right from the get-go. That's as we were running through it, I was like, I should have gone more lighthearted with this. Yeah, should have saved a pack of puppies or something. So I thanks for hanging in there. I hope I think we had fun though. So we're on session 6 this evening. What I like to do between adventures, I'm saying a lot. What I like to do between adventures is have everybody take mark off a long rest. So go ahead and go to your D&D Beyond character sheets, hit the long rest button, and then hit it again because it'll turn green and start a countdown. You have to hit confirm again. So if you haven't done that, do that. And just, yeah. Once that is done, Windows yelled at you. Oh, did you hear that in the... I got a package. That's what Windows was yelling at me about. I apologize, stream. So everybody's marked off a long rest, yes? Fantastic. Alright, so... Any questions? Anything else? I think you covered everything. You were helping Tina with a night hag who had taken up residence in her skull and was causing her to have all the sads and be very miserable. And you were able to bring her back to her and her family, which was just wonderful. And they were supremely grateful. A bit on hard times, but they did offer for you to take Shy with you, which I just realized I don't have a token for, so just pretend she's with you at all times. I'll get I gotta find more tokens for everybody's pets and things. So you guys headed back up the road. This town is not laid out like normal. It's not laid out like bracketing both sides of the main road with shops and then homes spreading out from there. This one was, all you really see at the main road is this big inn and tavern, and then as you walk out the back of the tavern and there's another long road with farms off either side going just forever. And your friend Tina was a bit of a hike down, but you made it back up to the inn. You were able to spread the news that she's feeling better. The whole community was really excited about that, and you bedded down on really comfortable beds. You've woken up the next morning, and the innkeeper is bustling around. You can smell bacon, and a server comes over and asks if y'all would like coffee. Is it all right if I say that you have all come down for breakfast and it is the next morning? Is that all right? Is there anything anybody would like to touch on before it is the next morning at breakfast time?
Nope. I think it's important to note that Winnie is still very tired. And, she'll come down for breakfast, but her eyes are just, barely open, and she's kind of just staring off into nothingness. She'll kind of respond, but it might be 5 minutes after you said something that she'll finally respond to what you said.
Does she get irritable when she's tired?
No, she just
slows
is out of
down.
it. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Anything else we want to touch on before it is the next morning at breakfast time? Okay. So you've all come down to the table. I want to say that this is a pretty typical morning after we were heroes kind of thing. you're not really in it for the glory, and you're certainly not in it for the money. Does that sound right for you all? Feel free to disagree with me at any point.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Okay. So when you're between jobs, you tend to hang out until you hear about a new thing. So yeah, that's what you all are doing. You're eating breakfast. You might check back in on Tina. But what does the breakfast table look like? What have you guys ordered for breakfast? Is anybody a morning person? Does everybody need a cup of coffee before they can be civil? Like, what's this look like?
Yume's definitely a
Freya's
morning person. She's way too
really
cheery for
early.
everyone else.
Yep, that's good. Freya, how's Freya?
Freya's also very awake.
Yep.
And trying to like not be as hyper. It's not working very well.
Okay, so Freya's awakeness seems to be expressing more as hyperness, and Yume's is more super cheerful.
Yes.
Great.
Is it possibly not working so well because Yume's encouraging you and trying to bolster you up?
Oh my gosh, this is great. Freya
Yeah.
is super on board. She's
Yeah.
not used to having other morning people around. And is like trying to get Yume in a really intense conversation about what they should order and trying to get Yume to order something different so they can split things and share to be able to taste more breakfast foods.
Perfect. Winnie's really sleepy. What did Winnie order?
She's a vegetarian, so she very much, like, breakfast foods are pretty limited. She's not a vegan, so she can do eggs and things like that, but, you know, normally if she was at home with her family,
Yeah.
you know, she would have a whole breakfast full of greens and vegetables and fruits, and
Actually,
I'm guessing the tavern doesn't have much in that way.
Actually, this is a really nice inn. This is a stopping point for a lot of merchants and things because of all the farms that are in this community. So you're getting some really good hash browns. You're getting a pretty good mixture of greens. There's the whatever they cooked it with has this like freshness, kind of sharp taste to it, and then there's a deep small dish, not plaster,
Like ceramic.
ceramic dish, thank you. It looks like it has a tiny pie in it, and when you cut into it, it's like an apple turnover. So the sweetness there, no, they did not cook with coconut oil, Luth. The sweetness there, I am allergic to coconut oil. It will actually kill me. So any assassins out there, that's how you do it. So the apple sweetness contrasts with the tartness. It's real good.
I was going to ask about that. Cindy told us that she specializes in pot pies and cider when we were here last. So I figured, like, I would assume that there's a decent amount of apples into the meals.
Oh yeah, no matter what y'all order, there's apples somewhere in it. Yeah. Yeah, but this is
That's
a good,
an amazing place.
yeah. And they had you go off with to Tina's and Rebecca's with that more traditional pie. This is morning time though, so you get these little turnovers and things. They do great things with apples down here. It's good note you made. And what does Battle look like? How's Battle doing?
Battle's one of those like really peaceful morning people who is just kind of like zen and chill and hanging out, not annoyed or bothered by like the high energy folk, but also not a high energy person in that moment. And I'm sure she's very excited about eating a variety of things, but since she's, if I'm remembering correctly as to what I had written down, she's a pescatarian, so she's probably leaning more towards like whatever's going on in the plant-based regions and the turnovers with the apples and the vegetables and stuff.
Yeah. You're probably eating about what Winnie's got. It's very filling and very refreshing. You guys are having a good breakfast. Are Freya or Yume meat eaters?
Great.
There is applewood smoked bacon. And
Freya's
it's
really excited about
particularly thick and wavy, and it looks just very precise, and they're all like stacked next to each other, and it's very good. Even the eggs, if anybody has eggs, taste a little bit like not as if apple has bled into everything, but there's a a snap there that's very good.
We'll have to try that. You may definitely makes an effort to get something healthy, but also goes for like the apple pie French toast sort of dessert breakfast.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing. Have any of you ever had French toast with like strawberry, like syrup and strawberries? It's that but apples, yeah. Definitely that but apples, yeah.
And if anybody has tea at like to start the morning off, you may like digs in her backpack and brings out a container, just like a jar of honey back from the farm that she lives on.
Perfect.
And puts her own honey into the tea anybody has.
Cindy comes over and she says, I love that you brought your own honey. That's wonderful. But I was wondering, would you like to try this other honey that I have? Because the bees get their pollen from the apple trees. And so our honey, you see what
I would be happy to.
Try that?
I just miss the flavor from home, but I would love to try something new. Please.
Of course. And so she brings you a new cup of tea. They've got regular tea. They also have apple tea. You've opened the abyss, Yume, and now I will go on and on about apples forever.
Yes. We just wanted to provoke more.
Yeah, there you go. So Cindy's very sweet. She pops in just enough. The servers are refilling coffee or tea, hot water, and bring anything you want. There's a bowl of water for the pup. They're very used to doggos in this town. The doggo gets a special mixture of like raw food, all chopped into a bowl together, and they're scarfing it down. Seems like their usual diet. Let's see here. Do any of you have any morning rituals? They don't have to be like I pray every morning, but like, do any of you have anything? Do your characters do anything in the morning that feels ritualistic at all? Like have to wash my face and open up the curtains and take a look at the weather before I can go downstairs, that kind of thing.
Freya stretches and drinks at least a glass of water.
Good. Yep.
If it's a low pressure day, you may try to read for like 20-30 minutes in sunlight if she can.
And the sunlight's the important part of that, right?
Both are very important. She had to do a lot of studying, a lot of reading back home.
Yep. Okay. Winnie or Battle?
I think Winnie probably like does some form of like meditation to try and like center herself and not get angry at everything.
It seems kind of important for her, yeah. Just the same way that Freya's stretches seem important to a character like Freya, right? Like high energy and stretching so you don't hurt yourself. And for a character like Winnie, with the character-driven, the rage-driven stuff, you'd want to try and center yourself. That seems like something Winnie would want to do because she seems very methodical and sort of straightforward. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
How about Battle? Any rituals for you?
Bet you that I think Battle would definitely clean thoroughly, and like the room almost looks untouched, like very organized, and probably is integrating doggy training into the morning routine along with stretching, maybe even yoga, but mostly stretching to prepare for like whatever the day might bring. So she's probably more like focused on stretching in case she has to use her bow. So she's going to stretch particular muscles. There's intentionality there.
Yeah, nice. Shy wakes you up like way too early, by the way. Just way too early. And
yeah,
Shy loves you. There is no doubt in your mind that this dog loves you, and they tried to sleep right here, and so that shoulder was a little stiff. That's probably another reason you're making that stretch, and we're gonna have to work on that. And yeah, they're into you. And the server comes by and drops a bag about the size of an apple, because I'm gonna keep doing that. and she says, "These are the treats that Tina and Becca use for their doggos. You go ahead and take these with you. They're pretty easy to make, and frankly, most of their dogs will eat anything. So but here you go. You can start off with that." She bustles off
Thank you
again.
so much.
So as you're all sitting there, you may well, anything else you want to do with breakfast? Is there anything you want to talk about, or no? Okay. You may. I would imagine that, given the importance of reading and the sunlight, that you're more open to messages from your patron around that time. Would that sound right for you?
It sure does. She tries to be a little more like alone, not like away from Dandy necessarily, but away from other people.
And would it make sense to say that sometimes what will happen is you'll have a knowing, and it's not that your patron comes to you and talks to you. It's just more that between one moment and the next you realize, okay, my patron contacted me this morning and now this is information I have. Does that sound right?
Sure, I have an idea to ask you. It
Okay.
could be a variety of methods that it happens, but in this case, I just thought maybe it could be bibliomancy, sometimes or always.
Oh, okay. So would it be the kind of thing where, Yume stands up, opens the book, moves over to a chair by the window, and, and is reading in that time. And as she sits down and the light falls on the page, the words change to the message from your patron?
That's a little more magical than I was expecting, but I like that. I was thinking just like maybe her attention is pulled to a certain spot on the book that is like, oh, that's meaningful. And then she starts paying more attention and listens to, like, puts her awareness out.
Okay. So you would have actually come down to the table with this information. Do you want me to type this to you? I should have done this in advance, or can I share it with the table and then you can, or I can give you like the bare bones and you can skin it however you'd like.
I have no problem with it being public.
Okay. I'll check in with you in the future ahead of time to see how you want to play this. So the information you have is your patron has requested your help, and the relationship you have with your patron is that you do have a choice. The help they need is that often your patron will send out aspects of themselves into the world to do little jobs and to pass messages and things like that. And their aspects are usually very quick and very quiet and very innocuous. And so you almost wouldn't even want to catch one. If you did, you'd have a piece of your patron, and that would be a problem for your patron. And that's what's happened. One of the aspects they've sent out has been captured, and it needs to be rescued.
Okay. And in my in my time spent with this otherworldly presence so far, I know that Dandy is not an aspect. He's some sort of different level of...
Right. Yeah, no, Dandy is not an aspect. Dandy is more of this world. The aspects tend to be blend in the background, but if you looked straight at one for long enough, that would not look right. And so Dandy's very much of this world. And I know that he can hop around a bit, but he still cuddles. Aspects don't cuddle. He cuddles.
Okay. Fair. Okay. So I'll probably keep that to myself for a little bit until breakfast is wrapping up. Don't want to stress anybody out, but this is very important to Yume, and she wants to, like, she's the type to put other people's priorities first, but she's still very urgently like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. So it's like, so everybody, do we have any plans for today? anything urgent you need to do? And she's just like holding her.
Nothing
her fingers
urgent.
together.
Winnie is still staring kind of blankly at like out the window toward the door at a wall. You can't really tell.
In 5
Winnie.
minutes, she'll sort of turn and be like, "What? Yes, sure."
You don't look like you got enough rest. I'm worried about you.
She just kind of blinks a little bit,
Oh,
sort of
Winnie.
looks in your direction, a little bleary-eyed.
Oh.
Coffee.
Dandy buzzes up behind Winnie, just like back of her neck, just flies by with a buzz.
That's really cute.
Well, I need to find something. I don't know if I've told everyone about my patron yet.
I don't believe you have. I know you haven't done it during the sessions. I don't know if you would have shared it in the time you'd spent before now.
I have to do someone a favor. It involves finding something pretty magical.
Freya's in.
To
He's
socialize
nowhere
the
for me.
puppy. Sounds like this is going to be some good exposure.
Yeah.
Do I know if
Winnie
it
is going
works
to
like
reach
this?
forward and grab her cup of coffee and take a sip.
We're gonna need some of that for the road, I think.
It's not a no. Yeah.
Are there thermoses in this world?
Flask.
And is there
of
one with
coffee.
apples on it?
There are flasks, yeah, for sure. You can get big, it's like a wine skin, but more for, not for wine. You can put like hot teas and coffees in it and stuff. Okay, so
Put that back in, have strong brand recognition, like Apple logos on everything.
absolutely, yeah, I mean, yeah. So you've shared that you need to go rescue a magical thing. Yes.
Yes. Do I have any understanding of what an aspect would appear as? Or is that kind of new to me still? Is it what it could be?
I think you're not sure.
Okay. I think it would be the first time I'm encountering one, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense to me if I knew.
Yeah. The way that your patron has contacted you in the past, I think, has been either through D&D or through that sort of bibliomancy kind of thing, and a knowing. And there's not a good way to explain that, except that you know that you have this commitment to this patron kind of thing. Really, only another warlock would be able to be like, oh yeah, yeah.
I don't quite know what it looks like, but I'll know it when we find it.
Okay.
Doesn't instill much confidence.
You also know that the aspect has been captured by a group that is antithetical to your patron. They weren't looking for this, but they stumbled across it and definitely took advantage of it, and they're transporting it back to their stronghold. So you need to try and get it back before it gets into the stronghold, because at that point, the four of you are... No, that's probably not going to work.
It doesn't sound good. Okay, I'll probably tell the details of it along the way.
Mm-hmm. And so you all will end up heading out to... there's the inn that you're in. These villages they're getting bigger. You're heading towards a larger city. There are trains in my world because I like trains, and there's a train stop at a city up the road, and so you'll travel for about half a day before you hit the city. And I made an inn and the train, so we will theater of mind the rest of this. You'll need to head to the city, and they're transporting this aspect via train, because I like trains. So, so you're all kind of in agreement? You're gonna go do the thing?
Yes, we're gonna do the thing.
Have any of you been on a train before?
Freya has never been on a train. She's
Winnie
a little
has
worried
not.
about all the metal.
I don't think any of you have. Yep.
think so. I think if anything, they might even make Battle a little on edge because she's much preferring to like the forest and the open road and walking, and this puppy has to pee every 2 hours. This is going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not common. And they're only used by like large, well-funded organizations.
But awakened animals are common, so there's probably some sort of accommodation.
Yes. Probably, maybe. No.
I'll make it work.
I've never been on a train before, but I'm really excited to see what it's like. I think we might need to take one.
When he's finally like waking up a little bit, she's just like, "What are we looking for?"
You're not going to have to walk anymore. You can sit on a train, take a nap.
Looking for a friend of mine.
I hear there's
with mine and
seats in
Dandy's.
Oh,
You
a
make
friend
sure
like
that they-
Tina?
More like Dandy.
Oh,
Yes.
Yep, that's a good thing to point out, yeah.
that's a pretty small friend.
Yeah, Dandy's bigger than your average bumblebee, right, Yume?
Yeah.
Yes. By a lot.
Didn't we say that they're like the size of a cat?
Oh no. I imagine Dandy's like maybe like fist size.
This size, okay.
But Yume's small, so that's even, I don't know.
So not Yume's fist size, maybe like,
Just around there.
yeah.
The cat seems really big.
Yeah, cats are pretty big.
That's a terrifying bee. I, as not Winnie, am terrified of bees. So if there was one legitimately the size of a fist, I would never go outside again.
Oh, Tyler really, really like skeeved out by it.
Yeah.
But when I think about it in fiction, it seems really cute.
So Dandy in my mind is this cute bundle of softness that happens to be the colors of a bee, and its little legs that would freak me out are kind of tucked up, and its wings are gorgeous. That's how I see Dandy. Just like sunlight refracted off of Crystal's wings and cute little eyes and little antennas, and that's Dandy in my head. It's very much like the emote that I commissioned.
Cute.
Wow.
Like a cute little bat bee.
Yeah, just like, and you just want to cuddle it, and when it cuddles up
Face
to
of a
your neck,
puppy.
you're like, of course. Whereas when a bee tries to cuddle up to your neck, you're like, I hate this. I don't like it at all. It's the opposite of that. So Winnie was asking some questions about who this friend was. You may have mentioned it was more like Dandy, less like Tina. Any other questions? No, Freya's just sort of bought in, like, we're gonna go do this. I trust you, May. This sounds like our next thing.
Yes, Freya spent a whole night sleeping, and now she's bored and wants a new adventure. So she's on board with doing the thing.
And Battle's distracted by Shy, but anything that'll get you moving and give her more exposure is good by you.
And I mean, I'm down for an adventure, and also have faith in my traveling companions that we'll be able to get ourselves out of anything that we need to, but I trust in Yume that this is something important, and so I'm ready to help.
And when you realized that this needed to happen, was there any hesitation on your part to take on this job, or were you already like, yep, gonna do it as soon as you learned about it?
I think she's totally committed to doing it instantly, but any nervousness would come from, like, she's ready to go and take it on, but she's nervous about getting the others to help out because, like, we're friends, but it's not their problem. It's Yume's problem and her patron's problem.
I think
There's some effort of, like, trying to coax isn't the right word, but, like, hesitantly seeing if they're on board because it's probably because she's nervous about them saying no.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, I think that about covers it, yeah, for sure. And Winnie, do you have other questions? Is Winnie's questions coming from a place of, like, suspicion, or just needs more information and is tired?
Just missed a lot of what happened in the morning and knows that we're going somewhere, and feels like there was some more information that was given that she was not a part of.
Okay. Understood. All right. So, would Yume explain that you need to go to the next town and investigate a train sort of thing?
Yes. Sorry,
Alright.
I didn't quite figure out how to make that happen naturally.
That's okay. I'm still learning how to position things with y'all. It's only been 5 sessions. In a year, this will be seamless if we play that long. Yeah. I'm joking because I've been playing with my other groups for about a year and it's still not seamless, but here we go. Okay. So, I would like to hand wave you guys going to the next town and say things like, Winnie finally gets another night's rest and feels better. Freya is bored the entire time but doesn't light anything on fire. Yume seems to be getting more information about the situation they're walking into, and Battle and Shy become closer, and it is all that keeps Battle from murdering Shy when Shy does annoying things. Does that all sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I'm channeling my puppy engagement. Due to...
I feel you.
Yeah, you've got a puppy
You could probably,
too.
if you're listening, you can hear Battle saying, like, they follow the rules that you give them.
Yep. My puppy this morning was whining, and I could not figure out what she needed, right? Like, she only makes that noise when she needs something. It's got to be something. And I was just so upset, and I turned away from her, and I was like, that is a puppy. You can't get mad at the puppy. You're an intelligent human. You have to figure it out. And I was so frustrated. So, yeah. There you go. You get that frustration in game. All right, so you guys... What was that? I heard noise.
I said super.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. It's rewarding too, though, because she learns to heal, and you're like, "Oh my God, did you see that?" And everybody else is like, "She's standing next to you," and you're like, "I know." All right, so you end up in the next town. It's quite a bit bigger. It's cobblestone streets instead of dirt, and it's much more crowded. This doesn't seem like the kind of place where everybody knows everybody. I like the last village y'all were in. So the train, where the train comes in is quite obvious, actually. To get into the city, you actually cross the train tracks. And the depot is all along the full length of the city. This is a big trade stop. And you imagine quite a few trains come through here. But Yume, you know that the train you're looking for is it is a train called the Z Express, and Z is spelled out ZEIH Express. Mm-hmm. And it should be stopping, taking on passengers and cargo at 10 a.m. the next morning. Yeah. What do y'all do?
It will stop taking on passengers and cargo in the morning.
Right.
So we have a whole day? Or is this...
It pulls in. It'll pull in between, let's say, 8 and 9 in the morning. It'll take on passengers and cargo and then pull out. There are trains coming through here all throughout the day. And in fact, they still run through at night. So there are constant train noises in this city.
So is this the only train option, or this is just the first train option we hear about?
This is the train that the Yume knows the thing that needs rescuing is on.
Oh, right. Got it. Okay.
Warlocks are complicated.
I know, I was trying to spit it out without... Yeah.
To help you, Shauna, I'm gonna, I would tell everyone everything except for the fact that it's a weird magical patron thing.
Okay.
The only thing I'm really hiding is, like, the nature of the actual aspect, and that it's specifically my patron.
Okay. Yeah, so the thing that needs recovering is on this one train, Yume knows. You also know that the aspects are not completely powerless, but they can be overwhelmed. That's what happened with this aspect. But again, not completely powerless. And so when it was loaded onto the train at a different stop, you're getting it. You're getting on the. You'll be getting on the train after it's already been on the train for a while. It was able to leave the back door open, so to speak. So the entrance to the train on the caboose is untrapped, unguarded, and open.
Entrance is guarded, and or are we unwelcome?
Sorry, say that again. It cut out a little bit.
The other entrances guarded, and or are we welcome on the train?
All of the other entrances are guarded. You can only enter the train with a ticket. The tickets are... the tickets have been pre-sold, so this train only takes very fancy humans and their business type people and certain kinds of cargo to and from. This is a private train. It's not a consumer train.
So we try to buy tickets and we're turned away?
I think Yume would know that it was a private train, but if you wanted to take the extra step to try and buy tickets, you would be told that there aren't really tickets for this train. It's owned by a private company. And the passengers and such it takes on are prearranged ahead of time.
So Yumi's looking pretty nervous at this point.
Okay.
Well,
I don't
maybe
think
we can figure out who gives out the tickets, and then we can get a ticket to get on.
The ones who give out the tickets, like who sell them?
Yeah. If they don't sell them here and the tickets are already predetermined, then maybe we could figure out who lets people on and somehow get on.
It's for really
It only
like,
takes
rich and
important people. Can
We don't
we
have much
disguise one of us as a rich and important person with lots of servants? The rest of us can be servants to make them look rich and important.
Yeah, that's a
That'd
possibility.
be great.
Yeah, you can try to bluff your way on the train, yeah.
Who's good at pretentious accents? They can be the rich and important person.
I mean, some people have
Charisma.
already said that I have a pretentious accent.
Can you talk down to people when they're telling you no so that they feel ashamed that they told you no? I think that's really important.
I'm not really good at people.
Which one of you is good at people? I think that's Yume, right?
good at people.
It's
Kinda,
Yume.
yeah. Or she could not do that. Actually, maybe... no, not without magic.
Might be foolish. I mean, charisma of 17? Eh?
When I look for... yeah, I tend to look at the modifiers. So your charisma is 15.
Plus 4.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yume's is plus 4, yeah.
Plus
How would-
5? Maybe I could hold up a piece of paper that if I can see someone else's ticket, we could like make it look like it and then be like, here's my ticket. I don't have time to talk to you.
That's what I'm worried about. It sounds like we have to like force or like steal our way onto this train. I need to get on this train. I want to do it the right way, but it doesn't seem like that's much of an option now.
So Yume is sharing that it's gotten more complicated because you can't just buy a ticket. What do you think your group would normally do? Do you think your group is the kind that would normally try and perform their way in, or would they try to fight their way under the train, or would they try and sort of sneak their way under the train?
I think we should sneak or trick our way onto the train.
Okay.
I think we should try to sneak first, and then if all else fails, perform our way on.
And would You may share the bit about the back door of the caboose being open.
Yes.
Would... yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything.
Sidebar question.
Yeah.
As far as having a puppy goes, do I need to worry about her making noise and or occupying her in such a way? Like, I'm imagining she's like floppy dog, super loose puppy, and I've probably tossed her around my neck at this point because we're in a crowd.
Yep.
Like a boa, like a,
Yep.
you know, she's just like hanging. Maybe even napping because we were walking for a long time. Do I need to worry about occupying her in this way, or like how involved do I have to be thinking about this dog?
So I don't actually think she's a puppy per se. I don't think she's like weeks old. I think she's closer to a year. She has a lot of basic training, right? Like she stays quiet in a crowd. She stays with you. You don't have to keep her on a leash. She's just awkward. She's not fully grown. So yeah, she'll comfortably ride around your neck. I'm going to go ahead and say that... No, I should talk with you about that offline. Yes, she will comfortably ride around your neck.
Quiet. Have I taught her the word quiet, the cue?
She stays
so she knows
quiet.
to just...
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's part of the basic package you got with her, I think. The way that I'm going to deal with Shy is that... as you use pieces of the stuff with her, what we'll do is say that that's like one of the first or second successful times that she's done it as you've tried to train it, just for story and flavor. But she's not a baby. She'll stay quiet. She'll stay with you. She's not gonna bark at anything weird, and so she's kind of like your shadow. And if you try to like, you know, sneak into a house or something, she stays right with you unless you place her somewhere. If you place her somewhere, she will stay there. If somebody tries to take her, she'll bite them. Stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. It is about an hour into this. What we can do, and this is a trick I will use sometimes if we're not quite sure as a group what we want to do next. What we can do is let's take our let's go let puppies out potty break, because mine needs to go out, and we can I'll mute the stream. We'll keep the stream going, but I'll mute the stream, and we can talk offline a little bit about like what the heck do we do next. Does that sound like a reasonable next step? Okay.
Sure.
All right, so stream. We're going to be back in 10 minutes, so a little bit after 6:30. We'll get started again. I'm going to put up a break screen. I'll jump back into chat once I let the doggo out, and we'll all come back around 6:30. 6:30 my time. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Must find be right back screen. Okay, so stream. We'll be right back. Well, let's just make that a tradition from now on, that I'll always say hi stream when we come back from break, muted, and then have to unmute. That'll be great. Anybody that can read the captions can tell us I'm muted again. Sorry about that, folks. Yes, so we're back. So Yume has explained. Yume, can you do a quick recap about what the whole party knows so far?
Yep, I asked all of my friends to go with me to help save one of my friends, who is magical and definitely not an otherworldly piece of a magical being. Keeping that part a little bit under wraps for now until we get there. And I'm asking all of my friends to help me get into a train to get my friend back out. And rescue them from kidnappers?
Yes. And you know as well that the train is privately run. You also know that the back door of the caboose is open. And you know that you're not quite sure where on the train the aspect might be, so you'll have to do some exploring.
Privately run, we can't quite get tickets, so we have to do some... We have to work around that somehow.
Yep.
Well, I guess we have to sneak into the caboose.
Okay.
Say no more. I'm happy to get out of the crowd.
All right. So what is there a plan involved here? So let's say that y'all have checked into another inn that looks remarkably similar to the last inn, and but you know, less apples, more city stuff, and because you know you can't have apples in the city. And what kind of planning goes into this? Do you all plan it out ahead of time? Are you all gonna fly in by the seat of your pants? What's going?
I don't think I know what the people look like who have the aspect. But I tell everyone that I think like probably some sort of like a cage of some sort, I would expect. We're not supposed to be on the train because we didn't buy tickets. So
Right.
we might get caught. So we might have to talk our way out of it.
Yep.
Do we know what the employees on the train look like? Like, if we hang out around the train, can we see, like, if there's a specific uniform that people have that maybe we could try to emulate?
Well, you've only got about an hour window to get onto the train before it leaves again. So it'll pull in and then an hour later leave.
Maybe we could say that we're new employees reporting for duty, and if we get caught, or if people ask us who we are, we can just say we're employees on the train, so we can kind of dress as more nicely than we normally would.
That's
Okay.
a good plan.
Yep.
So this is like
Very
an
uniform.
individual. But
Sorry. Is there a uniform that, like, since this is a frequented thing, I'm guessing that is the company, like, is this like an airport where private jets and then, like, big companies come through, and so then
Yeah.
this train is independently staffed?
Yeah.
Or can we emulate the security, perhaps? Since the security might also be local?
Sorry, you asked a bunch of questions there. And I'm not quite sure they all go in the same direction. So it is a privately owned train. It is privately staffed. There is security at the depot, but it is separate from the train. And so the security at the depot would guard outside the like the entrances to the train, but the staff on the train. So while the train is stationary, it has basically double guards on it, because you're going to have the depot train and there's going to be people all around. When the train is moving, that's going to be when the only guards you have will be on the train itself.
That sounds like we're either going on a completely stealth mission, or we need to, once on the train, figure out a plan for outfits.
right.
To blend
Blending in.
Right.
Unless we can emulate the passenger outfits that we see right now real fast. Does anybody have any magic to do that?
I believe I heard you mention earlier, and I'm just gonna point this out real quick. I believe I heard you mention earlier that if you got caught, you might pretend that you're
Nobles?
servants of nobles on the train somewhere. I think I heard that earlier. So that's an option. You've also mentioned impersonating a noble and their servants. You've mentioned copying the train staff, like trying to impersonate them. Buying tickets. You did start with buying tickets, so you're all very morally good. And sneaking.
Winnie does have disguise self as part of being a furbolg.
Oh.
Yeah, that is very handy for furbolgs.
Great.
Only
Winnie,
lasts an hour.
You said you have a accent that people claim is pretentious, and like maybe we can give you a little bit of support and extra help around being able to talk down to people, because oftentimes when you're mean to them and you ask to speak to their manager, they'll leave you alone.
I just don't like making people upset. I don't like
making a
Well,
scene.
if you have a better way to get
feel
to
bad.
leave you alone, then we should totally do that. But I think you could also just like pass out, pretend to pass out, and then we could talk about how this just happens sometimes, and we just have to get you back to your room as your servants. Just anytime someone tries to you just dramatically faint.
Like one of those goats.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier for Winnie if we did this yesterday.
With smelling salts. Yeah, you're still tired. You're still exhausted. This will get you some more rest in. It'll be great. And then you don't have to be mean to anybody, and no one will bother us. Except maybe they'll try and find the doctor. But we'll just tell them that this happens to you all the time.
So
It's okay. I have medical training.
Some kind of problem.
So
It'll be great.
is this like the Star Trek thing where Bones makes Kirk uncomfortable and he like rushes him onto the starship? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You guys have like referenced so many different it's like heist situations. It's highly entertaining. But yeah, you got to pick one at some point.
Are you, Spoon, not used to your players having somewhat like morally good intentions?
I really am not.
That are
No.
rarity for you.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to last here, because I'm sinking more into like, well, we might have to do some questionable things to get through this.
Frankly,
You know what?
Frankly, I was prepared for you murder hoboing, but yeah. So this is new and different, and I'm enjoying it. It's like the opposite of evil characters. So I'll have more material the next time I do that panel.
It's fine.
Okay.
We'll be all right.
I think the last question I have before we just prepare to enter the train would be like, can we glean any meaningful information out of the attire of those waiting at this platform
Yeah.
for this train?
Yeah, we can do that.
Especially if Winnie's going to disguise herself.
Okay, so what does this look like? Do you go to the platform once the train is there and huddle and like see what you can see?
I don't know, like
No, we spread
go in
out.
there a little bit before, spread out so we don't like look like at a group,
Uh-huh.
and then
But
just
someone also needs to stay with Winnie the whole time, because that makes this like a longer term plausible. And Winnie, every once in a while, you just need to look really tired and like you could faint. Like we're starting this charade now.
So the minute
Am I
you
dedicated
enter,
disguising
Freya.
myself now, or am I going to disguise myself before we get on the train? Or am I not disguising myself at all?
How long does this guy? Well,
An hour.
How about if
ooh.
Winnie? How about you hang back, and a couple of us go scout the clothing and the demeanor of the people who are onboarding the train and or waiting
Yeah.
to as the train arrives, right? Because we're here as the train's arriving.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can go look. You hang out here at the tavern and drink another cup of coffee and fill your flask, and then we'll like come back and let you know what's up. and then it'll
Yeah.
make it look like. I mean, at worst, you'll be a royal who is wanting to make their servants do things, which is pretty normal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
makes
normal to me.
sense.
Yeah, for sure.
When we're looking at the people on the train, I want to be looking at like their outfits and stuff, but I also want to make sure that like this is a relatively diverse enough crowd where like our party is not gonna like stand out
Yeah,
dramatically.
I think the only thing that might be odd is a furbolg in the city's a little bit strange. They tend to keep to the woods and such in this world. A giant bumblebee will be a little strange.
No, he's going back home for a little bit.
Okay. Doggo will not be strange. Small flashes of lightning will be strange.
Yeah, I think I can mostly hide those.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. But I think other than that, as long as Winnie doesn't go around smashing things, I think you'll like you do see one or two other furbolg. It's just mostly elves and humans and dwarves.
How
and things.
fancy does everybody look?
So are we at the depot now, or are we just talking about this city that you're in?
I imagined it where maybe they're like 20 minutes before the train is expected, so we can just kind of look at the people that are gathering and waiting.
Got it. Okay. So the depot that you enter is also not a map I've built, so buckle up. The depot that you enter is made of good, solid stone. There's a bit of wear and tear on the stones, like on the stone, the floor. Jesus. The columns are very sturdy. There's very solid wooden benches for people to wait. It's all open, so there isn't really a building. There's a ticket counter that's enclosed. And then the stone platform goes up to where the train would be, and it's raised up to the height of a train door. So the wheels, so it's 2 or 3 feet up in the air, built up. So you do have to like walk up a ramp to get onto the platform, and it is roofed over. And the roof is covered in slate. Nothing is too fancy. Like there's no gilt. There's no like gilt edges. There's no fancy carvings. It's pretty straightforward. What it does tell you is that the way that you know that money was put into this is that stone and is that slate roof. It's one of the nicest materials that have been used in any of the places around you. And the ticket counter is open right up on the street, so anybody can walk up. So that early in the morning, there is somebody at the ticket counter. And there is what looks like a couple of younger we'll say humans are piling a bunch of bags and cargo and boxes at one end of the platform. And at that end of the platform, we're also seeing some of the fancier costumes start gathering. And the people piling all of the cargo are deferring to those fancier humans. When I say fancy, I mean you're not looking at lots of jewels. Most people don't travel with jewels out in the open because you're just begging to be stolen from. But the costumes they're wearing do feel like costumes. It's like they can't just put on a jacket and a shirt. It has to be something made out of like super fine, soft material, embroidery everywhere, glints of like gold embroidery and silver embroidery, weird hats, super weird hats, like with feathers and fruit and stuff. And then as you work your way down the platform, you're getting more business type humans. They don't look like they've got working calluses. Like they don't look like they work with their hands much. You're seeing ink-stained sleeves and such like that. Thoughts?
So we have a pretty good idea of what we need Winnie to fit in with.
Mm-hmm.
but she's not here now. So can we like reconvene?
Yeah. There are coffee shops all along the other side of the street that the depot's on. It's actually pretty easy for you to all sit at a coffee shop together, or pop back to a coffee shop if you like. It's right across the street from the depot.
Caboose is the caboose inside? Is the caboose inside of the depot, or is it sticking out? You know what I mean? Where some trains, like when they pull into the depot, the whole train's in the depot.
They're too long.
Yeah.
Or is it too long? And if it's too long, can I try to take Shy on a walk and casually stroll past the caboose and check out our entry point?
So the train you want to get on isn't there yet. Let's say there's another train there at the moment, and it looks like it has just loaded in your more general travelers. You can see through the windows, you can see the seats along the way, and it looks like it just carries people. The caboose actually sticks off the back of the platform, so you don't load into the caboose. That's where like equipment and stuff is kept. So to get into the caboose, you'd actually have to get up those stairs that are on the back of the back of it. You wouldn't enter it from the platform. And so when you're taking Shy for a walk...
Outside, yeah. Sorry.
Let's say you're taking Shy for a walk. There is a gate that... so the train tracks go behind... So the depot is bracketed by shops. And the back of the shops face out to the track. So the track ends up... the caboose ends up being almost behind one of those shops, and there's a smallish gate that a person could walk through, but not like a cart or anything, that you would need to go through to get back to that caboose area. But there's no guard on it. The lock does not look that fancy, and the shop that's next to it is like a tailor shop, so it's not something that people are constantly in and out of. It's somewhere where people will enter and like stay for a while and exit infrequently.
Guys, we need to go to the tailor shop. We need to get Winnie a hat. It seems to be the most important part of this whole situation.
Yeah.
And then we need to put a bunch of extra shit on it, like apples.
Winnie, how do you feel about like a cornucopia hat?
I've never worn a hat, of any kind, really. But I could, I suppose.
It's vital for the mission.
Oh,
you have to wear a hat.
So something I didn't mention, when you left the inn, Cindy pressed a bunch of packages on y'all. So you had apple turnovers for days, and you had apple pockets, and you had little meat pies, and you had just apples, apple tea. If anybody showed the least interest in the apple honey, you had that. There's this delicious concoction she called apple butter, which you don't fully understand. You have all of the apples. All of them.
Ooh. Apple butter is delicious.
It is delicious.
Side note.
I miss it so much. I haven't had apple butter in ages. Okay, so you've decided to go get a hat. You've discussed putting cornucopia on it.
And if you faint, Winnie, then it's going to be easier to be like, oh no, a kerfuffle, because then we have to pick up all the fruit. It's going to be even better.
I do not mean to be pedantic. So let me just say, the tailor shop that's right next door deals with clothing, and the hattier shop, that's not how you say it, is to the left of it. So it's just, train depot,
haberdashery.
tailor.
But there is
haberdashery. Yes, there's haberdashery right next to it. Definitely. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And I'm assuming that Winnie's traveling clothes, however, are not like.
What does Winnie normally wear?
We might need to get her like a coat or something that looks fancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Winnie does not look fancy at all. Like her outfit has been through many a task, and is quite worn out. So, and it doesn't look anything like something a rich person would wear.
Your magic doesn't sound like it's gonna last long enough. So it's makeover time?
Makeover time! Very excited right now.
A furball makeover. This is amazing.
This is going to be fantastic. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Okay, so what's this look like? You walk into a shop. Are we all going in? Are you going to try to have it
sure going in?
Freya is definitely going in.
Does Freya like bounce? Yeah.
For sake of time, I'm probably going to go to the haberdashery and find the best cornucopia hat I can find.
While Freya and Winnie go into getting the clothing.
Yeah, because we got 20 minutes, right? Like 15 now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're getting short on time to get in there.
Yeah, so we're going to run into the tailor shop, and I'm going to go up to the tailor and say that we just need... I go up to the tailor, and I say, Winnie, I need you to wait outside for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I go into the tailor shop, and I go up to the tailor, and I say, so there's been a bit of a problem with my boss, and it involved a whole lot of things, and some shoes, and some people who can no longer be named. But basically, she just needs a decent traveling outfit, and she needs it in like 10 minutes. So if you have anything that's like kind of ready wear that we could pin, that would be amazing. And like she's really embarrassed about the whole thing, and so don't ask her any questions about it. But currently she's dressing well below her station, and it's a problem.
I'm gonna need a performance or a deception check from you.
Excellent.
Can it be an advantage because it's so good?
No, because Freya herself is probably not dressed the best either.
No.
What did you roll? That face
or
is
deception,
great.
it doesn't matter because they're both -2, and I rolled a 6, so that's a 4.
Wow!
Oh, Freya, that was so good.
It was really good.
It was a natural 20 in my book.
Yep. So the shop that you enter is just Floof Town. Like, it is definitely a woman's tailor, and there are dress forms all over the place, and there are women working on them. But the woman that you approach is clearly in charge. She has the floofiest dress of all. Like, it's got all these layers and buttons and stuff, and as you rush up to her, she literally takes a step back, like, what is this? And then as you start talking, she's kind of like looking at you very suspiciously, and she's like, this establishment handles these things on an appointment basis, and I'm afraid what you are asking for is quite impossible, as we are a bespoke shop.
So Freya would like to like glance around the shop and see if she notices anything that looks like it might be Winnie's size. Grab it.
Okay.
Found a hat yet? Can I come back or not?
Let's resolve this really quickly. So there is a couple of ball gowns. There's a morning dress. There is what looks like a traveling outfit, and it is not tiny. So there's a chance that probably that coat would fit Winnie. Probably.
So I would like to just like look at the woman and say, oh, I totally understand. And then turn around and just like on my way out, do like a little bit of a zigzaggy motion to go over and try and grab the dress.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to cast thaumaturgy.
Okay. Yep.
To just make the ground tremble for a minute.
Okay.
Everywhere in the shop.
Okay.
While I run away.
I'm gonna need a sleight of hand check from you, and I will give you advantage on that due to the ground rumbling, because all of the women in there
go through the
start
back
screaming.
of this shop, though.
I'm sorry?
Aren't we supposed to sneak through this shop to get to the back door to get to the train?
But interestingly enough, you're not here. So this is happening
I'm so happy.
in a very interesting way.
I got a 14.
You got a 14. Okay.
I got 14.
So the dress you're trying to grab is right by the front door. So you do manage to grab it, and you do manage to get out the door. You are followed by 5 women hollering at the top of their lungs, "Thief." What do you do?
I would like to pull out. How much money do I have? Equipment. I'd like to pull out a gold piece. I don't understand how currency works in this world, but I'd like to pull out a gold piece and turn to the woman who's closest to me and put it in her hand and say, "I'm really sorry, but I need this," and then turn around and book it.
All right. We're going to pause there for one moment. Before I switch to the hat shop, I'm going to just let you know that fine clothing costs 15 gold. And then I'm going to slide right over to the haberdashery
That is not
for just a second. So, Yume, did you go with Battle, or are you drinking tea?
Oh, I imagined I was with the other 2.
You were with
but
the
I
other
didn't
2.
I didn't want to cut off.
Got it. The
Freya's
happenings.
ideas.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I was outside with
Winnie.
With Winnie, yeah.
All right, we're gonna get your reactions in just a moment. I'm gonna check in with Battle over in the haberdashery. Battle, you enter the haberdashery. It is very brightly lit. This person has done something very clever with shiny metal and candles in a way that keeps the hat safe. But so there are hats just everywhere, every kind of hat you can possibly manage, and they're all on these different stands at different levels. And this extremely tall and kind of hunched over gentleman, as you enter and the bell rings, spins around and he makes eye contact with you, and he's like, "A customer. Come, my dear." What do you do?
Sir, can I do you have any elaborate hats I might look at? Anything you're willing to sell quickly?
He's keeping his hands sort of like this in front of his face, where he's tapping his fingers together in like a flowy motion, and he's kind of looking you up and down, and he says, "Would this be for Madame or for someone else?"
It's actually for it's for my, I don't even know what word to use. I am charismatic, so I'm going to say that I come up with a good word for what she is to me. It's for the lady of the house that I serve, and I'm trying to fetch her a hat because she is dressed well below her station and is having a rather hard day, and I'm trying to make her feel better by bringing her a surprise.
Your stories match. That's great. He says, "Indeed, what a wonderful employee. This is outstanding. Now, I believe the next thing we should discuss is what price range are we looking at? I don't mean to be indelicate, my dear." If there is any doubt in the way I'm portraying this, he's talking down to you so hard.
Oh yeah, I'm fully aware.
Okay.
And trying my best to ignore it because we're just trying to get the heck out of town. I'm gonna use my knowledge brain and keep it there, where that thing that people do and people think you're dumb, and so you just continue playing along until it's time to show your hand.
Yes. That's what I expected from Battle. So yeah, I thought this would be fun.
Yes. I would be curious what the range of costs are in this shop. I know that I only have my meager wage, but I think that perhaps maybe we could find something. I don't know how familiar you are with bartering with goods other than gold, but I would very much be interested in coming up with some kind of a compromise with you if it's out of my price range with gold.
His eyes sort of light up, and he's like, "A tour? Wonderful." And for some reason, that seems to have delighted him in a strange way, and he whirls past you, and he's like, "With me, my dear." And he begins to give you a tour of every hat in the shop. And he starts with good, honest work. These are hats you'll find on our menfolk that are working the streets and things like that. And then You're about up to the more modest affairs for the gentlewoman in our homes, and they're kind of those sort of straw hats with like ribbons and things, but they're not quite the cornucopia. As he's getting to those, they're near the cornucopia type hats, and so he's talking like 1 or 2 silver pieces here. So Battle, being the intelligent person that you are, probably can assume that the hat might be a gold piece or a bunch of silver.
Handle that.
And that's about when you hear somebody in the street start yelling, "Thief!"
Oh no.
Great.
And
I mean, I'd like to think Battle's surveying the store generally because, of course, she's feeling the urge of time. I'm really wondering if there's at all any kind of a back door towards the train tracks that she can perceive.
roll me a perception
Or
check.
if... Okay.
Come on, dice.
9.
There's a very high...
With advantage? Or not with advantage, that's everything put together, yeah.
Good, okay. There's a very high counter at the back of the shop where it appears that he has been assembling these hats, and then there's curtains behind that, so you're not quite sure if there's a back door to this establishment. It's not out of the question, but you're not quite sure.
Okay. And I don't think it would... He's not probably going to be open to touring me to the back of the shop. So, these hats look interesting. Can I see the cornucopia hats, by chance?
Well, of course, my dear. And he brings you over to... He's like, this is my prize, my dear. And he brings you to the gaudiest hat in the entire world, and it does really seem like there's, like, dinner on it. Like, there's even a bird and, like, all of this fruit and shit. And there's ribbon. Oh, God, there's ribbon. And there's a little, like, half, like, thing that comes down that mists the face.
Even
and
better.
He's going on and on about it. If with something
I think it's
with
perfect.
this interest, of course.
Yes. Yes.
Of course. And what I would be asking for my masterpiece here. He starts to go into this whole song and dance about the pain and effort it took to create this beautiful thing. And he says, so that would mean I would humbly ask of you for 1 gold piece.
Deal with you. If I offer you 3 gold pieces, is there any chance that me and my compatriots, the fellow employees of my employer, might be able to perhaps travel through your shop if you have a back door to surprise the lady of the house with this gift, rather than enter on the train with her with it? I want to surprise her with this hat. I'll give you 2 extra gold pieces for the trouble.
Roll me a persuasion.
Ooh.
Oh! 20! Dirty 20, but it's a 20, man.
Yeah!
Awesome. You have accurately read this man's demeanor. Do you show him the gold at all? Do you happen to like?
I have, as he's giving me this arduous tour, I think I've taken out my satchel and I'm kind of playing with them inside of the bag, so he knows that they're there and he knows that I'm not messing around, but I'm not flaunting the money.
Right. This is subtle, but he can see it. As you say this, he looks you over again and seems to make a decision. And he says, how many compatriots are we discussing here?
Only 3.
3 besides yourself?
Right, 3. Yes, 4 in total.
And you are offering me 3 gold.
For the hat and the passage, yes.
I see. I must be frank with you, my dear. this is my livelihood. Will you be putting me at risk?
I don't have any reason to think I might be.
And he says, then I believe we have a deal. When would you like to
Excellent.
use this method?
Very soon. Our train is arriving shortly.
Indeed. And as he hears that, there's sort of a knowing look. And he says, indeed. Will you be returning shortly?
Of course.
And he says,
Post haste.
I will just pop this into a box. And
Thank you so much.
he takes the hat and starts to take it back to the counter. And so when you enter the street again, Battle, well, let's pause on that for a second. Winnie and Yume, were you standing right outside the shop? Were you in a coffee shop, like diagonally across, keeping an eye out?
I think Winnie is filling up on coffee across the way.
Okay.
I just want to consult with Freya real quick. You asked that Winnie just wait right outside, or was it more of a, like, don't be right here and go somewhere else? sort of
I
thing?
asked her. I thought we were walking into the shop together, and I asked her to wait outside.
Okay.
Would Winnie have wandered off or done that?
No, I think if that's the case, she would have waited outside,
Okay, so Winnie, you
trying
and
to look inconspicuous.
Yume are kind of holding up the wall outside the shop. Does that sound
Yeah.
right? Okay. As you're standing there, Freya comes bolting out of the shop with 5 screaming women behind her. She spins around, slaps a gold piece in one of their hands, and starts to sprint away. Now, Freya, are you sprinting past the train depot or the other direction?
I'm sprinting in whichever direction I think I can hide the easiest.
So that would probably mean past. That would probably mean not going past the train depot because that's where people are kind of coming in. You'd probably run in the direction deeper into town. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
There's also guards and stuff at the train depot, so maybe the other direction.
Yeah.
So Freya runs past Winnie and Yume and Battle as Battle is exiting the shop. What do y'all do?
Oh no.
So
I think I
Battle saw this
facepalm.
too. Yeah.
I facepalm. Is the guy behind me, or what's
No,
he? He's
he's
boxing my hat, right?
In the back of the
I,
shop.
like,
He's waiting for you.
Try to take up space so he doesn't see her, and I probably just say like shit under my breath. Do I see them? Do I see you and Winnie?
Yume and Winnie are leaning against the wall to your left, where that's the direction the tailor shop is in. They share a wall with haberdashery.
I think I would turn to them and just say, let's give her a second head start. She's pretty quick. Hopefully she can hide, and let's go back her up in a minute, but there's no reason that, we need to go the exact same direction as if we don't need to out ourselves immediately like that. Let's
Right.
find another way around to find her.
I think I'd instinctively, like, if things aren't going so well, I'd like conjure up a swarm of bees in front of, like, outside of the door that the 5 people are running out of. Like, I'm not casting a cantrip upon them to damage them, but, like, in front of them.
Like Home Alone style, like some marbles kind of a deal, but these.
This is some chaos.
Okay, so Freya runs out of the shop, runs past Yume, Winnie, and Battle. Battle has this quick whispered conference with Yume and Winnie. Yume, what is Yume casting this look like? Like, does she have to wave her hands around a lot, or can she mutter under her breath?
Well, all spell casting, like, if requires some, like, showiness, so I'm hoping to do it stealthily. Like, according to the rules, it's, like, somatic and stuff. It's noticed.
Well, there's
like,
a...
I'd like to not let people know it's coming from me, but just kind of want to interpose, like, they just start buzzing up and around and grow in a swarm between Freya and the door.
Yeah. So I think there's a kerfuffle. And so you're trying to put the pile of bees between her and the women, or because the women are out on the street now, yelling thief.
Oh, okay.
So are the bees sort of, like, distracting the women?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give Freya some cover.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, yep. Let's see here. Yes. So I'm going to let you do that. That sounds good. Yes. I think
I'm going to tell Shy to start barking.
Great.
At the same time, just to add to the chaos.
She is super into this. She starts up a howl, actually, so instead of a bark, it's like, ooh, and then other dogs start howling.
Excellent.
And so, under the cover of a cloud of bees and dogs barking and women screaming, Freya tries to run away. So, Freya, I would like an athletics check from you, please.
Ooh.
Okay.
Could I have Dandy follow Freya invisibly? That
Yes.
could help us.
Yeah, that's...
Wise.
And I'm going to give you advantage because, which I know is silly because nobody actually helped you athletically, but I want to because of all the chaos. It adds speed to your feet.
13.
So I'm going to say that you make it to the corner and turn the corner. Dandy's on your butt. Well, not your butt. Dandy's following you. Sorry. I say butts way more than I think I ever did in the past. And so, Freya, you are booking it. Now, what... I just... The scene we have here is that there are 5...
Is the train here yet?
I'm trying to think about the time that's gone past. You guys went into the shops about 20 minutes before the train got there. Freya only spent maybe a couple minutes. I think you only spent about 5 minutes in the shops, so I don't think the train's there yet. And then booked it around the corner, trailing this traveling costume that may or may not fit Winnie. Bees have
We
descended.
don't even know.
Dogs are barking. And Battle, Yume, and Winnie are just standing, like, what are they doing once the bees have erupted and the dogs start barking and Freya disappears around a corner?
I mean, what is everybody else doing?
So, what's
Besides the 5 women.
Besides
in
the 5
store,
women.
What is everybody doing?
Anybody at one of the little cafe tables outside the coffee shops is all heads on a swivel. As soon as they see the bees, they start backing up. This shop is right next to the train depot, and it's next to the area that the sort of business type folk are standing. And as soon as they see the bees, they start backing up. You see some broad-shouldered sort of guards from the train stations start like moving through the crowd towards this kerfuffle because it's happening a little too close to their train depot. And they appear to have caught sight of Freya running away. And so one of them is calling back over his shoulder. And you see the guy in the ticket area start to like close doors and stuff.
So they're more afraid of the bees than they're worried about Freya at this point.
I think the guards are interested in Freya, I think is the indication you got. But everybody else is like, bees?
It appears that there's a guard that's like onto Freya that's like on her heels.
Not on her heels, but has noticed where she's gone and might try to follow her. There hasn't been enough time yet to tell whether he's actually going to leave the train depot to go after her or not.
Is he pretty far from Winnie and I?
He's about... He's about 30 or 40 feet away from you. apologize for not
Could I-
having maps, but y'all totally went right
That's
instead of left.
fine.
So this is the result. We have
In
you.
the chaos, can I like stride up to him and be like, just try to capture his attention? Like, excuse me, sir,
sure,
this is
yeah.
my first time riding. Could you answer some questions for me? Is it going to be arriving soon? I'm real curious about how all of this works.
And Yume's on the small side, right?
Yeah, she's like 5'1".
Okay. So he's not. He's like 6'4" or something. So he's kind of looking down at you, and he's looking up at the chaos, and he's. So can you roll me? It could either be performance, deception, or persuasion, but tell me which one
Ooh.
you're using, because I could see this being a persuasion one too. Because you're like, please help me.
I am being pretty deceptive, but I like it's a little more persuasive than deceptive.
I would just
So
pick
go for
whichever
persuasion.
one has the higher number, but
It's the same for me.
okay.
Is
Yep.
17 plus 6, 23.
So he stops and he signals to the other guard, and the other guard's like, "What?" And he's like, "Ah, there's just too much going on." And he stops and he says, "Young lady, our attendants will be able to assist you. I am needed elsewhere. But as you continue to try to do you try to get him to
Is it always this busy? It's very loud. I'm worried I'm not going to get the information I need before my train comes.
And he says, which train are you catching?"
Oh, I see a problem with this. I'll tell him the one specifically that we're looking for.
You'll tell him the Z train?
Yes.
And he says, "Ma'am, that train isn't due for another," and he pulls out a pocket watch and he says, "another 15 minutes. And it's an hour to load, and the attendants here," and he snaps his finger and waves at one of the young men handling the cargo, and he comes over, and the attendants here will ensure that you are where you need to be when you enter the train. Is that all?
That's a relief. Thank you so much. Yes, I think that's it. I feel much better. Thank you for helping me out. Could I get your name, please? I'm just trailing off, trying to get the last drops of distraction out of him.
He says, "That's not necessary. And he looks up, and Freya's gone at that point, and he just, like, the tension goes out of him, like he's not gonna try and run forward anymore. And he says, "That's quite all right, ma'am. That's not necessary. But you do have a good ride." And he.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Can I give you a treat? You've been very kind. Here, I have some snacks here in my bag.
And he's sort of like, no, thank you. But
They're from Diamondback. They're delicious.
I'm sure they are. I'm needed." And he sort of makes gestures away from the area that Freya disappeared in, and catches the attention of the other guard, and he's gonna try and like walk in the opposite direction of Freya.
I let him go.
And he's like, "Did you see that woman?" And you hear the other guard say, did she have blue hair?" And the first guard's like, "Did you see what happened?" And he said, "I just heard thief." And then, is that bees? So do the bees stay forever, or do they descend on the women and cause chaos and then go away again?
By the time, like, it's a cantrip. It's like by the time I imagine if I can't, like, doing something else, I can't.
Pay attention to it, yeah. So the bees kind of fly away, and the women are hysterical, and the one that's doing all the talking is trying to usher them back into the shop, and muttering darkly and calling the constable and blah blah blah. So everybody's sort of dispersing at this point.
You okay, Battle?
Hang on. You have an attendant following you.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, the one he called over, right?
And he says, "Ma'am, would you like to have a seat over here? And I can come collect you when the train comes. Is that all right? I need to go back and."
I think Battle's gonna walk up since I'm like 6'1" and just be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. She got lost. She gets so worried. I'll take care of her. Thank you."
"Oh, of course." And he looks at Yume to be like, "You good?"
Yeah, she's a friend of mine. Thank you so much for the trouble. And
Oh,
I give
sure.
him like a tart.
And like this is that age of boy that inhales food. They have empty legs, right? And he looks around furtively, and it's gone. And there's some, and he's, and thumbs up and runs away, to pile boxes and stuff. All right, so you've extracted yourselves. Freya, you've been running for a while, I would imagine. What's Freya gonna do? Is she gonna look for a place to hide?
My computer crashed.
Whoop.
I think I'm back in, and I think you can hear me.
I can hear you.
My headphones are taking a second to hear.
Okay. Why don't we pause for a moment, and I'll check in on the other side, and then I'll come back and check in with you. Is that all right?
I'm back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
I can hear you now
Okay, great.
as well.
All right. Well, so the question I asked was, you ran around the corner. Is Freya gonna look for a place to hide, or is she gonna keep running?
Freya is going to look for a place to hide.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's not something like kind of immediately available that looks like a semi-decent hiding spot, then she'll keep moving.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. 10.
You're gonna keep running for a little bit.
Okay.
You are attracting some attention. The area of town that you're running through is lots of shops, just shops on shops on shops. And this is the kind of city where everything's about 2 stories. It's not the fanciest city in the world. You would imagine that people live above the shops that they're running. You've probably made it about... I don't run. I have no idea how long it takes somebody to go 2 blocks. Is that fast? You who run?
Would not take very long.
Cool.
I don't have a concept of that.
Freya, how long do you think it would take you to run? How far do you think you could run in like 10 minutes?
I could run more than a mile.
All
A
right.
mile is 10 city blocks, for what it's worth.
So you're probably getting into the homes area at this point. Go ahead and roll me another perception check. Sorry, for the internet, I don't run because I use a wheelchair. I have no idea how long it takes to run at that point. I haven't run in years, so.
21.
Okay, so you find, once you get out of the shops area and you're into the homes, you're also spotting temples, like little churchyards and things. And you spot, and they tend to have these wooden gates that they open during the day when the congregation's allowed in, and they have these like courtyards where their congregation can like sit and gather and things. And you see one of those courtyards, and it looks empty, and the walls are particularly high, and you know that you could probably duck around that wall.
Great.
So you do that. And you stroke of luck. There's nobody in this courtyard, and the doors to the temple are open, but nobody's at them. Like they're deeper into the temple, so you're able to catch your breath here.
Okay. So I want to really quickly like roll up the outfit as nicely as I can and put it in my pack, and I want to like pull up my hood and tie my hair back. So that I'm like less noticeable. And
do you have like a hood? You could like put a hood up.
Yeah, I have a hood as part of my traveling cloak. And I want to like readjust my pack and like kind of peek back out around the corner. And if it doesn't look like anyone's coming, I realize that I've like gotten a fair amount. Like, I look back and I'm like, oh, shit. Because there's no one here. There's no one that's currently chasing me. And I am really far away from where I'm supposed to be.
Would Dandy reveal himself without you telling him to?
I was like, I don't see why not. Beyond 100 feet, I don't have communication with him anymore.
Okay. Do you mind if I make the call that I think he's intelligent enough to... You told him to stay with Freya. He would know that he can reveal himself to Freya.
Yes.
So he does, and he buzzes sort of happily.
I'm like, oh, great. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. So can you help me get back to everybody? We're going to move quick and quietly, and I'm just going to look like I'm really busy and I have a purpose, and I'm really stressed because people tend to bother people less when they look stressed and they walk with a really aggressive purpose.
Okay, so Dandy is going to buzz confidently and go back the way you came.
Okay.
What is Battle, Yume, and Winnie doing at this point? We'll say there's about 5 minutes until the train's going to pull in.
Well, I think we definitely need an update from Battle about what's going on with the hat situation.
Yep. You're muted. Battle, you're muted.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So, I was thinking that after pulling Yume from the attendant, I would say that, like, I got us a hat and a route to the caboose. I think we're in the clear, except for now figuring out how we're gonna sneak Freya through. But I wonder if we couldn't... I mean, how this pans out, I don't know with Freya, but we're gonna figure that out. But if we can all get back together, if we put you in the clothes and have you, like, disguise yourself... Well, I told him that... I catch them up on what happened. How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And so then I told him that there were 4 of us that were employees, so you don't even have to dress up yet. It's just when we get on the train that you have to dress up. So we don't have to worry about that right now.
Okay, yep.
So thankfully, for Freya's benefit, we can... If she gets away and she has the stuffs, we can just keep them hidden until we get on. And then no one will know.
Unless the people
Yep.
from the dress shop tell people what the dress or outfit looked like, and then we have to...
But you wouldn't be wearing it yet, not till we get on the train. Because I told him that there's 4 employees, so we just wear our normal clothes.
Right.
Because he thinks that we're of low station.
Right.
So I told him, I bribed him to let us cut through. We just have to file through silently, and I'll say hello, pick up the hat, and we go. I found you the perfect hat. There's a bird on it. You're gonna love it.
Ooh, I do
Ribbons
like
everywhere.
birds.
I don't know about that, but yeah. Freya, you probably make it back to them about now, because I'm imagining you were running and Yume was doing the distracting thing. You ran away, bees happened,
Yeah.
guards, Yume distracted guards, you battled.
And I've been booking it back.
Right. Are you running or are you just moving quickly?
I'm like doing that thing where you like don't want to run because you're like not wearing a sports bra, but at the same time you like really need to move really quickly, so you do that like
those problems.
run.
Yeah, that. So it takes you a little bit
I
longer.
just run while holding my boobs down. That's what I do.
I never had those problems because my boobs are tiny. Okay, so we've talked about boobs enough at this point, I think.
I'm so sorry for those who did not wish to have such conversation.
I would apologize to the internet, but I don't really care. That was fairly innocuous. So Freya is... now, Freya, would you just run back to or move quickly back towards the shops, or would you, stop, catch your breath, and try and blend?
I would 100% try and blend because
Okay.
like I'm very worried about really angry tailors and guards.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm following. I don't know if Dandy is visible or invisible, but like if Dandy is visible, then I'm following Dandy. If Dandy's invisible, then maybe he's like keeps bumping into me to help me like navigate through.
I think
to
he
hide and move.
appears anytime you need to change direction.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I am paying attention to that, watching my surroundings, and like, just like
Yeah.
keeping all the lightning from showing up. being as innocuous as possible.
You're approaching the corner that the... I'm so sorry for yawning. You're approaching the corner that you rounded to get out of the way, to get out of sight. So you know that if you turn that corner, you're going to be on... There's only going to be 3 or 4 shops until the haberdashery and the tailor shop.
Okay. I'm looking around as much as I can to try and spot my friends, because my goal is to meet back up with them.
Okay.
I'm just going to something with that.
Now, you may battle and Winnie. Are you still standing outside the haberdashery, or did you go elsewhere?
What are the ladies doing?
What was that?
What are the ladies doing?
So after the
store employees.
Yeah, after the bees disappeared, because it was pretty quick, the older woman who looks like she runs the place ushered them back in. They were all crying, and one of them got stung, and, you know.
Oh.
Well, if you wave your arms around in a cloud of bees, you're gonna get stung. These women are not smart. Not because they make clothes, just because this particular gaggle of women is not smart. So she's ushering them back in, and so they're back in the store at this point. The woman who runs it doesn't seem to. The woman who runs it doesn't seem to have connected you with Freya. Fortunately.
Excellent.
I rolled a 3. You got lucky.
Seems like we're in the clear for a little bit. We just have to find Freya and make sure that she doesn't get re-noticed before we can get on the train.
How much time do we have at this point now that Freya's run back and forth a good mile, and we've been catching up with each other?
Ask that again? I'm sorry.
So if Freya's run 2 miles now, well, she's run one, sped walked the other, and we've been chatting about strategy and catching up to each other, and convincing people to come be distracted and go away.
I think by the time Freya gets back to you, the train has pulled in.
Perfect. Okay. So then, what is Freya doing? Because I would think that we were just standing there talking, trying to play cool. But
okay, so you're standing outside the
Winnie
haberdashery.
And Yume.
Yeah, would Winnie or Yume say you'd go anywhere else, or just hang out there?
I think we would just hang out there because that's our
Your
exit strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, no reason to drift off.
So, Freya, you peek around the corner, or are you sort of sauntering around the corner casually and maybe changing
Peek
direction?
around the corner.
Okay.
For sure.
This guy walking down the street gives you an odd look, but just keeps going. You see Battle, Yume, and Winnie standing outside the shop, trying to look casual.
I try and sneak up to them as much as I can because I don't want them to notice me.
Roll me a sneak check. It's not what it's called. Roll me a whatever
Stealth.
it's called. Stealth.
It's a sneak check.
Yeah.
I
wish you could customize the
rolled
sheets.
A
Sneak.
5.
You rolled a 5 to sneak. You trip on a cobblestone, bump into the guy that gave you a suspicious look. He goes, "Hey!" And everybody's head swivels around and looks at you again.
I still have my hood up.
Nobody seems
be
to
like,
recognize
My
you.
hair is
Well,
back.
Can I run up?
Nobody
to her and
seems
just
to
be like,
recognize
"Here you
you."
are. Come on, let's go."
yeah.
Okay.
Does Freya respond to this
Just to
well?
like.
I look a little bit ashamed and go with battle.
All right, my friends, we are about 15 minutes to stop in time, and I feel like this is a decent place to stop. So we'll say the train is pulled in. You've arranged a way to get out the back of this shop, the haberdashery. You've purchased a travel dress that may or may not fit Winnie, and a hat. Hats fit everybody, and I've decided. Nobody on the street seems to have recognized Freya's returning to the scene of the crime. Does that all sound about right? And Battle's about to rush Freya into the haberdashery, with Winnie and Yume closely following behind. And the plan is you're going to sneak out the back of the shop, and we'll talk about what you do next. Yep. Okay. Well, what did you all learn this evening?
That was beautiful.
That Winnie
Very
or that
exciting.
Yume casts bees when she's scared
Mm-hmm.
or startled.
That might be. That's definitely top 5 favoriteest things I've had happen in a game, I think.
That was pretty great.
Just for the record.
I'm happy about it too because I just learned about it myself when it happened. That wasn't premeditated.
So good. Well, and it
Way to
makes
be in character.
so much sense. It's so perfect. Okay, what else did you learn this evening?
It's all real subtle things. I can't think of.
Bribery is effective.
Chat, we will accept role-playing moment nominations from chat. The players will vote on it. So go ahead and start thinking of those while we're doing the learns. We'll move into that next. Sorry, I missed a learned while I was saying that. What was that?
It's okay. I was just saying bribery works.
Bribery works. Yep.
Freya's got some stamina.
Yeah, she whipped around that
Not
corner.
not good talking skills though.
She whipped around that corner and got back in a fairly short amount of time, so yeah. Any other learns?
Winnie can be convinced to step outside of her comfort zone if it's to help out a friend.
There we go. That's a good way of crystallizing what I was thinking. I'm like, Winnie was real impressive with how she handled, like, she wasn't awkward. I don't want to use that word, but how you were navigating having to be snooty, be like a noble. I was trying to figure out how we can make a learn out of that.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good way to put that, yeah. Okay, any other learns, or are you ready to move into the role-playing moments?
All set.
Okay. I'm just writing down that the train is pulled in. Battle is rushing Freya into the haberdashery, which she has bribed the owner. Need to pick up hat. I think
Which is
that's
being boxed.
yeah. I think that's all I need to write down in case I forget any of what magically happened this week. Okay, so let's move into role-playing points. So I've got a couple of nominations from chat. Let's click. Okay, RP point. Date is 8/1/20. RP point.
Weird.
I've got RP for battle for not coming with a bribe to get out the back door of the hat shop, but a legit reason to want to do it. Surprise your mistress. So for not only coming with a bribe to get out of the back of the hat shop, but a legit reason to want to do it. Surprising her mistress. Yeah, that was a good moment. Let me just see if I can
Complete
copy
improv.
paste. Yes, cool. So this is battle. And yeah, that was real good. And then the other one was Freya for just straight up yoinking an entire outfit. Yep. That's also good.
Amazing.
And then the final one from chat, because Luth stopped that, is I'm just kidding. You can nominate all you want. Is Yume fear bees, which I think is also awesome.
Can we call them hornets instead? Fear hornets.
Any other good role-playing moments anyone would like to nominate?
I was gonna say fear bees.
Yeah, fear bees.
So, yeah.
It almost sounds like Furbies.
I was just thinking the same thing. We have to stop sharing the brain. Okay.
What'd you say, Yumi?
I really liked Freya's conversation, like the first, like the attempt to talk through it, It was
The attempt. The attempt.
yeah, it was colored. It was brilliant as you were saying it, and then once you rolled, it was all colored retroactively. Like, oh, that must have been really bad, but it still sounded real good.
Yeah.
I really need to stop playing with this D20 because it hates me, and also I have a -2 on anything charisma related.
Oh, no.
So.
To try.
Yeah. So, Freya's attempt to deceive the dress shop owner. And I'll put the dice betrayed an awesome performance. Does that sound alright?
I love it.
Okay.
I also like Yume's distraction tactics.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh yeah, those were good.
Not only the fear bees, but the please help me, kind sir.
Yeah, you actually got me flustered. I was like, stop it. And I realized, like, that's exactly how that guard would feel. Like, yeah, so that was good. It was very good. Okay, we have enough RP points. You all ready to vote? Or more. I can type more. TP tappy type. We'll go ahead and start throwing emotes on there. I would like to draw your attention to the new emotes we have, which are new spoons, which are also subscriber badges, which I only see one example of in chat because apparently I'm a tier 3 subscriber to myself, so I get a fancy rainbow spoon. But yeah, subscribers get a little spoon next to their name now, and you can use that in my Discord server. Okay, I've got 1, I've got 2.
This is hard.
I know.
Because this entire, like, episode, if you want to call it, this entire session was role-playing, so there's so much to cover.
Yes. Yep. Oh, you can't emote?
I can't emote.
Why?
Screen reader complications. It's fine.
I am very sorry. I'll find a different way to do this then. That's not fair for you. Okay.
I usually, long story short, is I usually can, but for some reason, multiple things at once won't let me. We'll figure that out later.
Okay. All right. So I've got 3 votes. 4. I've got 4. Yume's gonna take it with the fear bees. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
And
Yay!
honorable mention for
Yay,
Freya
Yume.
attempting to deceive the dress shop owner, and Battle for coming up with a bribe and having a good reason to do it. That was good. All right. I can't tell you guys how much fun this was this evening, and I feel like I've been preparing for it for 2 weeks because I don't mind sharing with you that about, I'll say, well, definitely about 6 months ago, if I had run this game, that break at the beginning would have been for me to walk out to the living room and panic at my husband. But tonight, so for the last couple weeks, I've been trying to figure out how to improv better. And I took this seed of an idea because a lot of my players have told me that they like my NPCs, which are largely made up on the spot because otherwise you just have books of NPCs. And so I've started doing this Sunday morning thing where I don't prepare anything. One player describes their character at me, and I just tell a story for 2 hours with that player. And I did that for the first time last week. It worked really well. I've been running the Treasure Tuesday campaign out of a book without preparing any of that ahead of time. And so I very honestly feel like I have, for the past 2 weeks, been preparing to run this session with 4 people making stuff up just on the spot and try to balance, like, giving you enough information to make decisions and not overwhelming you with, like, describing too many details and stuff. And I did not think I was going to have to do that with a group of 4 anytime soon. 1 person is hard enough, but I think that went fairly well, and I apologize for stumbling at the beginning. But 6 months ago, I would have been panicking hard, and instead tonight I ended up having a lot of fun. So thank you, all of you. I really appreciate that.
Well
This was
done.
So much
I had fun too.
Didn't feel like
It was
I
amazing.
me stumbling.
Right.
Put that in perspective.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's the kind of thing where, you know, they tell, you know, you're told as a new GM and stuff that you want to make sure that you've got enough engagement for your players. So, like, you want to have traps, and you want to have opposition, and you want to have like mystery and puzzles and all that kind of thing. And you guys created those things for yourself in a lot of ways, right? Like the walking into the shops and you're like, we're going to buy a dress looking the way we do and with the time limit that we have. Like, I didn't have to make that up for you. You did that yourself. I just had to make up DCs in my head. So that was, yeah, you guys did a really good job, I think. I really enjoyed it. Well, any thoughts from y'all before we do one last thing and then say goodnight, stream?
Did you think we would be on the train in this session?
I did. I super did. So earlier today when I was like, I have so many things for you guys, it was none of this. I didn't prepare any of this.
Oh!
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
When
Love it when that happens.
Yeah, that whole babbling thing I just said about having to improv, I improv'd this entire 2 hours with 4 players.
Well
all of
done.
it. Yeah.
It was
thanks.
great.
That was
It was
so
amazing.
This is definitely one of my favorite sessions we've done so far.
I want you to know that
Me too.
I know GMs where y'all would panic the crap out of them. And I'm not saying don't do what you're doing. Please keep doing it. It is a good happy feeling challenge for me. I feel like I've run good runs tonight. But there are definitely GMs out there that are going to watch this and be like, "Oh my god, why?" And I'm gonna be very entertained by it. I'm definitely gonna get some direct messages about this, and it's gonna be a very good conversation. So you guys will now join the ranks of players I tell stories about.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well done.
Excellent.
Yeah. And and it's not going to be the kind of thing where I'm like, well, I had this group of players and they were the worst. It's going to be, I had these players and they went left instead of right, and this is what happened, and they liked it, so I guess you could do that now. That'll be the story I tell. Alright, well, I want to start adding a moment where I say where everybody can find us on future evenings. So I'll go first. Tomorrow I will be running in the morning Brunches and Dragons, where as I just previously described, I will have one player who has prepared a character that I've never seen before. And we'll start the session with them describing this character to me, and I will make up what I hope is a fun story. We'll see how that turns out. Then I will be back online on Tuesday with Treasure Tuesday. I will not be doing a Dungeons & Doggos next week, but the week after. And then back here on Saturday with the next... we'll see if Broken Bane decides to get on the train next week. How about the rest of y'all? Is there anywhere you can be found online that you'd like to share with this stream?
I can share. You can find me online on Twitter, kind of. I'm on Twitter officially.
Yes.
At Dr. Skilmer. Most of my games are run not in public spaces because they're therapeutic games with Game to Grow, but I will be on doing a therapeutic GM Q&A this Thursday, and you can find that at gametogrow.org/webinar.
Yeah. Perfect. Anyone else in a stream that they want to share?
Thanks.
Or writing articles they want people to read, or hosting any Scream sessions or anything like that?
No, but
I
now
mean,
I feel
I
like I should.
You can find me on Twitter as well. My username is xsarah with an H dactyl X, like it rhymes with pterodactyl. I stream on Wednesday nights on GamerDoc streams. That's twitch.tv/GamerDoc_. The GamerDoc_. And we talk about physical health and mental health and esports and gaming. And then sometimes I play things on Thursday nights on stream, sometimes not. But you can find me on Geeks Like Us podcast Brain Noodles. Otherwise, I'm around doing a lot of things in lots of places and writing things. I don't know. So if you go to my Twitter, you'll see what's up.
Fair enough.
It varies.
Anything
Not to be elusive.
I would not. That is not a word I would use for you, my friend. You, May or Winnie, is there anything you'd like to share?
Sure. I am Jayden, sometimes Tyler, online. I'm at Tyler_Moonsage on Twitter. And I mostly talk, if you want to talk about this game or other nerdy stuff, lots of nerdy stuff. I am also part of the Dots RPG project. We released an article a couple days ago. If you want to get some information on making your PDFs accessible, specifically for the TTRPG base. And we just wrapped up the RPG Writer Workshop just now at the end of July,
Awesome.
which I can't recommend you go join because it just ended.
I
But
know.
if you're hearing about it and you're excited about
I'm
it,
excited about
keep
it.
an eye out for November if you want to write your own one-shot in a month
Okay, I'll
from
do
start
it.
to publish.
But I have to write a book that month too.
Well,
Maybe I can do
we'll
both.
find a way.
Okay.
I want to come.
Might have
I'm
to
writing
sing.
a whole module for Harry Potter Dungeons and Dragons, so I could use all the help I could get.
Well, we'll see you in November then, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all, Yume?
It's all for me.
Okay. Winnie, you got anything?
I don't really have anything. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter all that much, so you're more than welcome to check out my handle at Brithanah, BRITHANNAH. I mainly repost cool stuff that I see on the rare occasion that something's on Twitter. But I don't really have anything else anywhere online.
Is this the only stream you're in?
This is the only stream I'm in.
All right. Very cool. I know you play other games. I didn't know whether they were streamed
Yes.
or not. Okay.
We don't stream them.
Well, I believe that's all we have for tonight's stream. If you have any questions for me about this game or any others I run, you can find me on Twitter at like7spoon. Otherwise, please join us next week. I'm very curious about the next installment. I hope you all are too. So everybody, let's say goodbye, stream.
Goodbye, stream.
Bye, stream.